to you. There's going to be a policy forum, a virtual policy forum tomorrow on Joy Prime. Well, as you know, countries across the world are beginning to ease restrictions imposed as a result of COVID-19. Our government is also consulting with stakeholders on the best way to reopen the schools. We've heard Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah announce that an eventual reopening is inevitable, although the exact timing is unclear. But what is the best way to ensure that schools are reopened in a way that ensures safety for both students, teachers, and other staff? Joy Prime TV's morning show, Prime Morning, is organizing that policy forum to explore this particular subject. And co-host of that show, Daniel Dazi, joins me to discuss this. Daniel, thank you for coming. Now, tell us why this forum. We do have a background, but give us a bit more detail.
Well, that background, Gifty, tells the story in the best way. These are people who have come together to find a solution to the fact that schools are not there. I'm excited to see that, first of all, a village that is close to where I'm from, Kengbuli is very close to where I'm from, in the Western region, is applying a solution that we suggested earlier in a conversation we had with Prof. Stephen Adair.
Okay.
He mentioned that it will not be possible for us to have virtual lessons via Zoom for children in low-income neighborhoods. And so it would be best to have radio lessons.
Okay.
These are some of the solutions that we have proposed in the past. This time, we want to elevate the conversation and think about when we are reopening schools, which is inevitable, according to what the Information Minister told us recently, we would have to explore some solutions. What nose masks are they going to be wearing? Should we be giving out nose masks? Should we be giving out Veronica buckets? At what level should these buckets be distributed? Where do we find the funding? All of these are various questions that we need to answer and answer well if we can come out with a guiding document that will be applied across the country.
Okay.
And that's why we are bringing together these experts to discuss the issues.
Talking about the experts, give us an idea. Who are these people? I mean, we did put a picture up, but give us a bit of a background into these people and how they bring, what they bring to the conversation.
So we looked across the world, really, and we brought together the brightest minds when it comes to education in the African setting and also public health. So we have Professor Stephen Adair. He's well known. He's former rector of GIMPA. He's currently the chair of the National Development Planning Commission. He's also board chair of GRA. He's also a lecturer at Ashesi University. The founding president of Ashesi University, Dr. Patrick Ewa, is also with us. Patrick is a very unique example because Ashesi University began taking steps to shut down their schools before even the country did so. Okay. They switched to virtual lessons before the general announcement was made by the president. The former education minister, Professor Jenano Pokwa-Jimang, is also joining us. She, of course, has a bird's eye view of what education policy is, how it can be applied across the country. We have Dr. Amanda Odoi, who is a research fellow at SEGRAD. She wrote a very interesting thesis topic when it comes to education. Anis Hafa is an educationist and founder of Gates Foundation. He specializes in training teachers. And he will also be taking us to how we can conscientize the teachers there to be ready to deal with the new situations, the teacher specific. Now, Nana Kofi Kwache is the only one here who has a specialty in global public health. Okay. We can't have this conversation without looking at the public health implications of gathering. And he will be bringing us those perspectives so that with the other education, pure education solutions that are suggested, he'll be checking the boxes to see, okay, this is safe, this is not safe, this is what must be done. So we try to bring together a well-rounded panel. But since it's a virtual forum, we're also inviting all viewers and listeners. Okay, how do people join in? Yes, first of all, you can join via our Zoom ID. Okay. It's a system that we are setting up. And so if you want to be a part of it, we put the phone numbers out 0202 516 515. Okay. 0202 516 515. Just WhatsApp this number. We'll form a group. We'll let you know what the rules are so you can join our Zoom audience so it can be as interactive as possible. Of course, we'll be live on television and also on social media. You can join us on Facebook on the Joy Prime official Facebook page, Joy Space Prime, and also on television as well, Joy Prime TV. Tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
So it's happening tomorrow on Joy Prime. You want to make a date with Daniel Dazi and the team. Looks like, I mean, look at the panel. Just take a look at the panel. These are people you want to hear when it comes to formulation of educational policy. Now, these are the people you really want to hear. And definitely we're going to steer the conversation in a way that tickles the minds and, you know, gives thought-provoking ideas to those who make the decisions. So definitely we'll be making a date with you, Daniel. But you did say that, what's the name again of the place, Kimberley? Kimberley. It's close to where you come from, right?
It's close to where.
Okay.
It's in the same constituency as my father's hometown, Ekwe.
I see.
And my mother's hometown is in the neighboring constituency, Axim.
I see. So when you see those young people there talking about education, and you see this small girl who was sitting by the radio listening to not lectures, listening to
lessons.
Right. I mean, I'm sure it brings you a lot of nostalgic thoughts.
Well, it really chokes me up a bit, because any of these could be my father. Decades ago, seeing in a low-income neighborhood in a village like Ekwe, seeing education as his only escape, seeing education as the only way that he can provide a better life for his kids like me who were down the line and he could not see yet. I think that these persons have taken the right priority. They are passionate about their education. They've taken the extra mile and they are taking it seriously. I think that for every child like this, we need to give them an opportunity to learn in a safe environment without putting themselves in danger. I also think that for the parents, for the brave parents who have sent their kids off, who have bought the radios, who are providing the electricity, this is something that we must also salute them for. For every parent across the country, that's why we are having the policy forum. So that if you're a parent and you're worried about what schools will look like, we are going to tell you what the schools should look like. So that you can also hold the schools accountable, especially when it comes to the private schools. So this really encourages me to see the children taking interest in education. And I believe that this is why we are doing the forum. And
I'll definitely be talking to the persons who are behind this idea in this is the Elembele constituency. But hopefully others can learn from it. Speaking of which, you'll also be hosting, like I said, people who are key when it comes to the decision making with our new policies, etc. Joining me right after this conversation, I have Dr. Okobo here in the studio, and also have the head of the COVID-19 crisis communication as well. I'll be talking to them, and I want to hear from you. Daniel, thank you. Do stay with me, by the way, as I speak to Fifi Encho, who is a social performance manager of Talo Ghana Limited. That's the institution that's rolling out the STEM radio school, which we saw in the Elembele community there. Mr. Encho, it's good to have you. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Now, the sort of need that you identified at Elembele, for which reason you put in this intervention, can you give us a brief background on it?
Thank you very much. So for the past 3 years, Talo has been undertaking the after-school support and STEM initiative for students within our enclave, that is the 6 coastal districts of the Western region. And this is part of our social responsibility initiatives, socioeconomic investments, basically aimed at providing support to students to pass their BEC. And also at the secondary school level, provide a lot more support to students to pass their WASI, and also have students develop interest in STEM education. Now, as part of it, we've had very good pass rates in the BEC for students within our area of influence, talking about the Western region, and also at the WASI. When COVID came in with the government directive on social distancing and the school closure, we then decided to re-engineer this program and then provide it on so that the support that we've been providing to students as Talo would continue, and then the benefits and also the successes we've chalked in the past would not be lost. So basically, that is the whole idea of it.
I just love to hear from you, because you have been on the ground interacting with these children, and you've put together a program that seems to be working for these kids. What would you, if you get the chance, for example, to speak to any of the policy makers? Now we're being told to learn to live with coronavirus. So if you were to advise any of these policymakers, what sort of advice will it be based on your experience with this project that you're doing in Elembele?
Thank you very much. Talo is a thought leader when it comes to initiatives such as this. And even at our place, proud to COVID, we had introduced the flexi working hours and also working from home policy. So when this came up, Talo quickly met up with the implementer, and then we had a discussion around moving this onto radio so that we do not lose the successes we've chalked. So for policymakers that are listening, and also for other key influencers when it comes to the education sector, what we can say is that we need to be a little bit more innovative in ensuring that we provide avenues where students can still continue learning. Of course, it will never be as it was before, but there are very good opportunities. We get the opportunity to reach a lot more students, and also we have the opportunity for the student to have even continuous education from their teachers who are listening in and provide the support. So I think we just need to be a little bit more innovative in the way we provide support for it.
Well, I pray that other corporate entities around the country will be able to pick up from this initiative and help the students and the pupils around those communities. But finally, what's in the future for this particular program, not just in the Lembele constituency? Do you have any plans of expanding? I understand you focus on your host communities, but what's the plan going forward?
Thank you very much. Kalo is committed to the continuous support of shared prosperity. Already this initiative has transcended our areas of influence. There are 21 community radio stations that are already picking up as far as Tapa and other areas that are not even within the Western region. Okay. They pick the feet and then they in the communities for the children to listen. Going forward, we are still committed to our support for STEM education. Our scholarship programs at the tertiary levels will continue, and also our support to these students in these very difficult times will continue. Thank you very much.
Mr. Encho, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Fifi Encho is a social performance manager for Talo Limited. They are initiators of the STEM radio school, which they are implementing in remote communities. So that is